If electricity costs rise by 15, have you ever thought about how much of your profit disappears? In reality, for many companies, almost nothing is left. Sales stay the same, but costs keep rising. This is the reality we're facing now. And this is not a temporary issue. Even if the news says things have stabilized, costs on the ground don't come down easily. If anything, the real challenge starts now. 2026 is not a special year. This is the new normal. In other words, the baseline has changed. Fuel, electricity, raw materials, it's not just one of them. Everything is rising at the same time. That's why the idea of just cutting costs is no longer enough. Even if you keep working the same way as before, results will only get worse. That's the structure we're in now. What's needed now is not more effort, but a change in strategy itself. Take electricity costs, for example. What happens when they rise by 15%? The lower your profit margin, the more critical the impact becomes. Because electricity is a fixed cost, you can't escape it. Costs are rising faster than you can increase sales. That's today's reality. Logistics is the same. Once costs go up, they rarely come back down. In other words, waiting won't fix it. That's the key point. That's why the old ways no longer produce results. So what should you do? Now we get to the main point. First, visualization. For example, 10 minutes of waste per day. This exists in more workplaces than you think. Have you ever calculated how many hours that is in a year? About 60 hours. That's more than 2 full days of zero output. With 10 people, that's 600 hours. That alone becomes a major cost. But this loss is invisible, so it gets ignored. That's why you must make it visible with data. This is where it starts. In short, invisible waste keeps cutting into profits without being noticed. That's why visualization is the first step. Next is procurement strategy. Are you still choosing suppliers based on the same old criteria? Many operations choose the cheapest option, but that assumption is breaking down. If transportation is delayed, the line stops. The moment it stops, profits disappear. So going forward, it's not about cheap, it's about close. Fast delivery, reliable delivery, those themselves create profit. Better close and reliable than far and cheap. This shift in thinking is essential. Right finger teropu. Many operations think you pay only for what you use. Right finger teropu. But in reality, timing makes a huge difference. Right finger teropu. If usage concentrates during peak hours, costs spike immediately. On the other hand, simply shifting time can reduce costs for the same work. In other words, you don't need new machines, you can improve through operations. This is what it means to win through systems. Now, this is the most important part. In 2026, the role of managers has changed. They are no longer just managing tasks. They are people who create profit. Make the workplace easier, while generating profit at the same time. That is the new role of managers. For example, even in Vietnam, the same problems are happening. People are working hard, but the system hasn't caught up. That's why results don't come. This is not a people problem. Change the system, and results will follow. And the one responsible for that is you. Not managing, but designing. That is the leader of 2026. Nothing complicated is needed. Start with just one thing. Only one is enough. Make one improvement today. That one will accumulate. In 1 year, it becomes a huge difference. And by the time they notice, others won't be able to catch up. The future doesn't change overnight. It changes with today's step. That one step will transform your workplace.